I had the opportunity to tour the constituency, though briefly, and we had an opportunity to meet with certain communities here, and it is clear the main cry is for the roads in the communities. Now, as you can see, and for those of you who travel through Clarendon, you will see the great work that is being undertaken with the extension of the East-West Highway into Manchester. That is going to improve the economic prospects for the community. It is going to improve travel times. But citizens are now saying, we appreciate that, we like that. It's going to make us move quickly between parishes, but the local roads are a challenge. We understand that. To the point, Mayor, where a resident said to me, if it's a choice between water and roads, I'll take the road. It's a puzzle to me, but his logic made sense because he said, with good roads, we can carry water. So, yes, the logic does make sense. And that is why the government announced the Spark program, which is an allocation of over $40 billion that we are going to allocate to fix community roads, local roads, parish council roads in every constituency. $40 billion sounds like a lot, but I must tell you, it is a drop in the bucket for what is needed to repair all the roads that need repair. As I was in conversation with some of the youngsters who came to me to complain about the roads, I asked them a question which I thought was important. I said to them, how long has your road been in this state of disrepair? And their response was, for as far as they can remember. Well, here you have one member of the crowd saying that these roads have been in this state of disrepair for a long time. It is an important point to note that the state of disrepair is not a now issue. It is something that has been with us for a long time. And why is it that we have not been able to maintain our roads in a good state of repair? The real issue is that our economy just never supported it. That is the real issue. So as Jamaicans are now frustrated and fatigued and are complaining about all the issues that have existed for time immemorial, we must also reflect that we are now finally, by virtue of the government's policy and how we have managed the economy, we are now in a position to address the issues that are pain points to you. Bear in mind that even as we address those issues, we still have to go through procurement and proper design and a proper public investment oversight process, which again is likely to elongate the process of the delivery of the road. It is something that government has to become more efficient in. We can't say do away with the rules because we want to fix your road right away. Because if anything were to go wrong, it is you, the same public, who will turn around and say corruption and we waste public funds. So I'm asking you as members of the public to be cognizant that Jamaica is in this new phase of its development, where we have an economy that is turning and creating the resources, but we also need to increase the capacity of our public sector to be able to comply with the rules and use the resources efficiently. So my short answer to you is yes, we're going to fix your road, but yes, we also have to be compliant with the rules. So it may take a little longer than you would expect, but we ask for your patience and understanding. We are going to fix your roads. God bless you, and thank you.
In this area, it is mainly cane areas. So most of the cane fields would have not been closed. The two factories, Monimus and Unamat, are now closed. So while we implore that persons would save, most of the persons are now without their source of income coming from those two factories. Any word to the persons in this area, sir?
Yeah, this area is considered part of the sugar belt. I would reserve my comments on the history of sugar. But I would say that there is still value in having a sugar industry, but we need to diversify. Clarendon needs new industries to be brought in. And we cannot continue to rely wholly and solely on sugar. The economics of sugar for Jamaica would suggest that some of these industries may not come back. And so we have to look for other uses for the land. So the government is now strategically trying to bring in new industries, still in agriculture, because there's a great potential here in agriculture, particularly in orchard farming. And so we have given a directive to the Minister of Agriculture to pursue that. There's over 20,000 acres of land held by the Sugar Company of Jamaica, which is not being used. But I would wish the people of Southwest and Southeast Clarendon to bring them into the conversation about why it is that some of these lands are not utilized. Yes, the economics of sugar is one issue, the price of sugar on the world market, how it fluctuates as a commodity, the level of investments in the factories, but the lands themselves have started to show lower yields. But there is a bigger problem caused by saline intrusion, meaning seawater has crept underneath the land into the water table, and it has affected the productive use of the land. So there is a project now being done by a team from the University of the West Indies to reclaim the mangroves in order to act as a barrier from the saline intrusion. That's a long-term project. But in the interim, there are other crops other than sugar that can still grow well on these lands. And so the Minister of Agriculture has been tasked to identify those crops, particularly orchard crops, and develop them in this area. So we are aware. We are aware of the issue of the loss of the major enterprises here and the impact on employment, but the solution may not necessarily lie in sugar alone. It is a diversification. On the employment issue, I will say that we get conflicting reports. When I meet with employers, there is a constant cry that they don't have enough employees, they don't have enough workers, they can't find labor. And when I go into the field, like I go here, I see many youngsters who should be at work or at school, and I hear adults, parents saying, my son is at home doing nothing. So clearly there needs to be a program that is on the ground, that is interacting with our young people, attracting them into the labor force through a process of upskilling and training. And that's why we have appointed a Minister of Skills, whose task it is to develop a program to ensure that the number of persons who are outside of the labor force, who choose not to work, not that there isn't any job there, they choose not to work, and some who can't be employed because they don't have the skills, that we get them into the labor force. And that program is being developed and is being rolled out now. You would know that for Heart we have removed the fees, so there should be no barrier to entry into training. And I want to use this platform to appeal to our young people, please go and get a skill. Go and get a skill.